Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mindset and Impact Virtual Summit. I am your host, Coach Molle from Three Pines Leadership, and thank you for joining me for day 3 of the summit. I'm so excited that you're here. Today, I want to go over one of my favorite courses that I offer, which is the Dynamic Leader. Because if we want to actually turn our ideas into impact, we need to be efficient as leaders. We need to be influential in our leadership. And in order to do that, we need to be able to wear a whole bunch of different hats as a leader. There are different roles that we need to play. So this course is going to give you a lot more information into the 11 principles of highly effective leadership. But before we jump into that, I want to remind you of all of the different places you can find me. So make sure that you touch base with me. Let me know what kinds of leadership projects you're taking on. What have you learned from this session? What have you learned from the summit? What questions do you have moving forward? I love to get in touch with all of you guys. So send me a message. Let me know what's going on. So you ready to jump into today's course? Good, because we are talking about the Dynamic Leaders, 11 principles for highly effective leadership. So what is a leader? Before we get into the nitty-gritty of effective leadership, let's make sure that we're all on the same page regarding what a leader actually is. There are probably 1,000 or more different definitions of leadership. Everyone you ask is going to give you some different response. And we want to make sure that right now, before we jump into any of this really useful information, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page. We're all speaking the same language. A leader, generally speaking, a leader is someone who motivates others to act towards achieving a common goal. A leader is able to rally people around a cause and move them to take action towards achieving a particular objective. A good leader inspires people to do something bigger than themselves, to work together to accomplish key objectives, to pool their strengths and their resources to achieve great things. A good leader helps everyone become the absolute best versions of themselves. Winston Churchill, inspiring the people of England to keep fighting in the Second World War, is a great example of leadership. Thanks to his inspirational leadership, the people of England made great sacrifices in their fight against the evil regimes of Germany. The leader is different than an organization. An organizer gathers resources and deploys them in the most effective way possible. That's kind of like a manager. Yes, an organizer brings people together, but they don't inspire them to take that big, bold action. Organizers are about efficiency, while leaders are about vision. What things characterize a good leader? Well, there are 7 characteristics of high-level achievers. So the first one is vision. An effective leader has a clear vision of where they want to go and how they're going to get there. They understand that they are where they currently are and are crystal clear on what it's going to take for them to get to where they want to be. The leader must be able to communicate this vision clearly to those who follow him or her if they want to have any kinds of success. Second is motivation. The effective leader is highly skilled at motivating others. They know what makes people tick and are able to tap into those emotional triggers. Through their words and through their actions, they're able to motivate them to do things they wouldn't necessarily do otherwise. The third is service. The best leaders are those who serve their followers. Bottom line. Fourth is empathy. A leader must be able to place themselves in the shoes of others. If they want to create consensus among their team, they must be able to understand the concerns of others and effectively respond to those concerns. Number 5 is creativity. The highly effective leader is creative when it comes to achieving their outcomes. They use their imagination to look beyond what is directly in front of them to see what's truly possible. They're able to see how they can effectively leverage the skills of their followers for maximum good. A leader is also somewhat demanding because the best leaders, the best The best leaders want the most out of their teams. They demand the best from their teams. They don't settle for mediocre results or half-hearted efforts. Rather, they set an example of passionate work for their team. And they expect that their team will follow their example. Management. Yep, we're going to talk about management because a leader must be able to manage those who follow him or her. See, management is the first step. Just because you have the title of manager does not necessarily make you a leader. Because remember, managers are like organizers. They're about efficiency, they're about process, whereas leaders are about vision. Leaders change people's ideas. They change the mental picture that their teams have in their head, and they lead them towards that vision. None of these characteristics on their own make for a good leader. The best leaders possess a combination of some, if not all, of these characteristics. They're able to be both creative and demanding at the same time. They can manage effectively while also expressing empathy for their team members. They can provide vision while serving their followers at the same time. Leadership is about balance. It's important to understand that leadership isn't about having a particular position, title, or attributes. It's not about being a manager. Just because you're an executive doesn't mean you're a leader. Having the corner office doesn't mean you're good at leadership. Having a charismatic personality also doesn't make you a leader. The good news, though, is that leadership is not something you're born with. It's not something exclusive to certain people. It's not something that you find in a child that you can't develop in an adult. Rather, it's something that you learn over time through practice. It's not something you study in a book. It's something you do. And you can become a better leader when you practice these kinds of skills. If you're not an effective leader now, that's totally okay. It's okay. You can grow and you can become an effective leader. Use these skills, use these tips, and practice, practice, practice. That's what this workshop is all about. In this training, we're going to lay out the 11 principles of highly effective leadership. And by implementing these principles in your own life, you can become a powerful, passionate, and inspirational leader. You can help others become the best version of themselves and achieve great things. You can lead people to accomplish your vision. You ready to dive in? Let's get started then. The first kind of dynamic leader is the self-motivated leader. So first and foremost, a leader is self-motivated. Unlike followers who must be told what to do, a leader is a highly self-driven, self-starting, and motivated person. A leader is out in front of the crowd. They're moving forward on their own initiative, taking action without being told what to do. A leader must be able to drive things forward without the approval or permission of others. They must have the innate desire to make change happen, even when they can't see exactly how it's going to happen. A leader isn't primarily motivated by salary or social perks. They have a fire within them. They have a burning desire to change the world. They have a powerful desire to make this good change happen. Well, how can you grow in your self-motivation? Well, the primary way is by choosing a goal or a set of goals that resonates with you deeply and stirs up what you want to accomplish. And that way, you'll be inspired to accomplish these great things. Remember what I mentioned in the flow state class in day 2. That is all connected. Find something that's going to connect all of your strength, your talents, and your abilities, and it's going to push you that much further. You'll be way more interested in the task at hand. You'll push all of your distractions away, and you'll get amazing things done. The primary way is by choosing your goal that resonates deeply with you, that stirs up a want to accomplish great things. So think about your own life and your career. What sorts of things do you really, truly want to accomplish? Do you want to design for the greatest, biggest hotel in your city? Do you want to have your art on the wall of a particular art gallery? Do you want to have your book published? Do you want to be able to balance not only a full-time career, but also a family at the same time. What kinds of things do you want to accomplish? Think about those goals that set yourself on fire and that make you want to take massive action. What objectives would you be willing to sacrifice for? It's these kinds of things that create motivation. Focus your attention on those things. Write them down. Rehearse them again and again and again. The more you're focused on your big, audacious goals, the more you'll be motivated to want to achieve them. If your goals involve others, you'll also be more motivated to get them on board with your goals. Next, we're going to talk about the confident leader, something I know not much about. Wink, wink. If you want people to follow you, it's absolutely essential that you be confident, both in your overall vision and your approach that you're taking to making this vision a reality. So what exactly is confidence? Well, it's an inner belief that you have the ability to achieve what you set out to do. It's the personal assurance that you can accomplish whatever you put your mind to. It's the feeling that nothing is too big or challenging for you. But isn't confidence something we're born with? No, not necessarily. Confidence is born out of action. In other words, the more action you take, the more overall success you will have. The more success you have, the more confident you'll feel, which will lead you to take more action. This leads to more confidence, and the positive cycle continues. Yes, there will be times that you will fail. It will happen. There will be times when your idea doesn't pan out or your best efforts will fall flat. There will be times when even your best laid plans will go to pieces. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to give up. Your confidence will flag and you'll doubt your ability to accomplish things. Don't give in to that temptation. If you want to be a confident leader, it's absolutely critical that you keep taking action, moving forward, and striving for your goals. It's the courage to continue taking action that makes for a great, self-confident leader. The best leaders are inherently confident, and they're confident because they've consistently taken action. Next, let's talk about the accountable leader. If you want to be a highly effective leader, you must hold yourself accountable for both your actions and the outcomes of those actions, the outcomes that those actions will produce. When things go well, you take appropriate credit, and you give credit to your team, of course. But when things don't go well, the accountable leader will take the blame. You're the leader of your team, and therefore everything ultimately will fall on you. The opposite of the accountable leader is the victim leader, I like to call it. The victim leader blames everyone and everything outside of themselves for their failures. They refuse to believe that their actions could result in any problems, so that they consistently blame problems on others. It's the, oh, woe is me. It's your fault. I couldn't do it because of that. Blah, 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 blah. They're looking for reasons to fail rather than looking for solutions. They may take credit for successes, but they will certainly never accept blame for failure. If you're going to be a powerful, compelling leader, you must accept 100% or 110% responsibility for the outcomes of your actions. You must take decisive action to influence specific outcomes and then embrace the outcomes, whatever they may be. If you don't hold yourself accountable as a leader, how can you expect to hold others accountable? If you aren't willing to set a high bar for yourself, how can you set a high bar for the members of your team? The reality is that your followers will never rise higher than you. They will look to you and follow your example. If they see you consistently blaming others and refusing to be accountable, they'll do the same. Work hard and hold yourself accountable, and your team will do the same. Next, let's talk about the passionate leader. This is something that everyone loves to talk about. Because if you don't have passion for the job in front of you, you'll never be an effective leader. The best leaders have a fire in their bones, as I keep saying. They are so passionate about what they're doing, they're willing to work long, hard hours to accomplish their goals. Passion is infectious. When you, as a leader, are passionate about reaching your objectives, it causes others to be passionate as well. It's kind of contagious. And if you're not passionate about the job before you, it means one of two things. First, it could mean that you're doing the job wrong. It's hard to be passionate about a job when you really don't care about it. If you have zero passion for your job, it's a signal that you're probably in the wrong position and may be better served elsewhere. Second, it could mean that you haven't set ambitious enough goals for yourself. It's difficult to be passionate about small, mediocre goals. It's hard to care about goals that you don't really add up to much in your personal or professional life, like pushing paper. On the other hand, big, audacious, giant goals are much more motivating. They allow you to wake up each morning with a sense of purpose and drive. They push you to strive to achieve great things. If you're not feeling passionate, maybe you need to set bigger, better, stronger, more audacious goals for yourself. Ultimately, passion flows out of vision, my friends. If you have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish and can see the great good that it will accomplish, you'll be passionate. If, on the other hand, your vision is blurry and you're not sure what you want to accomplish, you won't be passionate at all. Let's talk about the courageous leader now. There are a few things a leader needs more than courage. The decisions you make as a leader will result in you being evaluated by others. People will criticize you from time to time. Sometimes you'll take action and it simply won't pan out. Courage keeps you going and confidently moving in the direction of your vision, even in the face of adversity. If you're not courageous as a leader, you simply won't do any of the other things necessary to be a good leader. You won't take appropriate risks because you're afraid of missing the mark. You won't suggest new ideas because you'll be afraid of being shot down. You won't take bold action because you'll be afraid of being judged by others. There will be times when you simply don't know what the outcome of a particular action will be. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to be afraid, to not act, to hold back. And in those moments, when courage is needed more than ever, you need to find the courage to act boldly, regardless of the outcomes. William Faulkner said it in this way: you cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. As a leader, there will be times when you lose sight of the shore. Like when you're launching a totally new initiative, when you're introducing a new product that's unlike anything you've ever done before, when you're trying to create a new team or tackle a new or difficult project. These are times when you're going to lose sight of the shore, and until you build up the courage to lose sight of that shore, you cannot swim to those new horizons. You cannot accomplish great things. You will not level up in your leadership, your career, or your personal life. If you're going to achieve great things as a leader, you must have that courage to lose sight of the shore, to keep going, even when you're not sure exactly how things are going to work out. If you display great courage in the face of adversity, people will follow you. They'll admire and be inspired by your courage, and they'll want to emulate you. Now let's talk about the leader with integrity. We hear a lot about integrity here at Three Pines. Integrity means being consistent with your values. So you first have to understand what your values are, and then you must make sure that you remain in alignment with them. It means saying what you'll do and doing what you'll say. It means you have strong moral values that you will hold fast to, and those moral values will be your guiding compass in every situation. If you don't have integrity, your followers will quickly abandon you. They'll see what you say is different than what you do, that you don't have a particular set of morals guiding your actions, and the ends will always justify the means. Remember, if you're trying to influence others to follow along your vision, and they see that you're talking out of one side of your mouth and doing things out of the other, they're going to start doing that too. And you don't want that. You want everyone on your team to be aligned to the same vision. So you have to lead. You have to lead with integrity. Stephen Covey said, moral authority comes from following universal and timeless principles like honesty, integrity, and treating people with respect. Do you want to have a sense of authority with those on your team? Do you want your team to respect you? Do you want them to do what you ask without grumbling or arguing? Then be a person with integrity. There will be times when you're faced with ethical dilemmas, my friends. And in these moments, you have two options. On the one hand, you can act with integrity and gain the respect of those under you. Do the hard work. Be courageous. Or your second option is to act without integrity and to lose the trust of all of your followers. Without integrity, those under you simply won't trust you. They won't have the confidence that you'll do what you say. They won't be confident that you will have their best interests in mind. Rather, they'll worry that you're asking them to do something for selfish personal reasons rather than for their own good or for the good of the company, the organization, or the project. Let's talk about the emotionally intelligent leader. We hear a lot about emotional intelligence these days in our leadership and management courses, but let's talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, also known as EI, is the ability to understand and manage both your own emotions and the emotions of those around you. It's the ability to understand why you're feeling a certain way in a particular situation and to understand why others might be feeling a certain way in a certain situation. There will be many times when you find yourself in difficult, stressful, emotionally laden situations. And in these moments, it's essential that you be able to understand why you're feeling a particular way and then respond appropriately. If you simply fly off the handle and explode emotionally, you'll lose the respect and trust of those under you. You must be able to manage your emotions appropriately and handle emotionally difficult situations. In the same way, you must be able to understand why others are feeling specific emotions. This skill is also called emotional IQ, allows you to see things through the eyes of another. It enables you to put yourself in someone else's shoes and experience the same emotions they are. If you're unable to understand the emotions of others, you won't be able to effectively navigate highly emotional situations. You'll make decisions without considering the feelings of others, which can cause significant damage to your relationships. The best leaders are able to keep a close handle on their own emotions and help others manage their own volatile emotions. Let's talk about the humble leader now. Many people think that leaders must be proud, brash, and always right. In fact, the opposite is true. The best leaders are humble. They listen, and they're willing to admit when they're wrong. Because humility is one of the greatest keys to leadership. A proud leader is in a danger of blind spots. They're convinced that they're always right. They're sure that their way is the right way, and they feel like they don't need to listen to the opinions of others. This, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. A humble leader, on the other hand, is set up for success. So what does humble leadership look like? It looks like listening. The humble leader listens to the opinions and feedback of others. They don't assume that their ideas are always the best. They ask for feedback because a humble leader asks those around him or her for constructive feedback. They realize that they don't know everything and they need the valuable advice of others. They admit their wrongs. Every leader makes mistakes. The best, most humble leaders admit that they've made mistakes. And this creates an environment where others feel like they too can admit their own mistakes. Respect. The truly humble leader is respectful of others. They value the insights and opinions of others and do everything they can do to respect what they bring to the table. Humility is fundamental to success as a leader. Leaders who are humble thrive, while leaders who are proud ultimately fail. Let's talk about the visionary leader now. A leader moves people to take action. They look forward into the future, they see good outcomes, and then they help people move towards these outcomes. They help others get from point A to point B. In other words, a leader has vision. A leader doesn't merely organize people, resources, and efforts, although this is certainly necessary. That's what a manager does, remember? Leaders are able to peer into the future, see how certain actions will produce specific outcomes, and then motivate others to take those actions. That is visionary leadership. A powerful vision has 4 specific elements. It captures the heart and imagination first and foremost. A leader's vision must be able to capture the hearts and imaginations of their followers. Those who hear the vision of the future very much want to be part of it. The vision must be vivid. A leader must be able to paint a vivid picture of where they want to go. They should be able to communicate the benefits of their vision in clear, concrete, and powerful ways. The vision also must be achievable. While it's essential that the vision stretch people so that we're using more of our skills, our talents, and abilities, it must also be achievable. If it's clearly not achievable, then most people won't want to be part of it. The vision must be future-oriented. A leader looks into the future and sees what is possible. They can see a future that's better than the present, and they can move people towards that future. It's important to note that you won't be able to get others on board if your vision doesn't possess the qualities already mentioned. So if you're not confident in your vision, people won't see it as possible. If you're not passionate about your vision, people won't be excited to be part of it. And if you're not emotionally intelligent, you won't be able to effectively tap into people's emotions and get them to follow you. Whenever possible, communicate your vision to those around you. Just keep telling it. Just keep sharing it. Just keep posting about it. It doesn't matter if right now, when you start, nobody's listening, because I promise you, if you keep putting that vision into the world, you will attract the right people to you. If you want to get them on board with your vision, it's important to communicate clearly and forcefully as much as possible. Regularly paint a picture of the good life that people will experience if your vision becomes reality. And this you can apply to your personal life, your family life, your work life. If you're an intrapreneur, an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're looking to the future and you're painting that picture for people. Some people have difficulty thinking in the future, thinking about those kinds of visions. So you, as the visionary leader, can help make that possible. You can help them kind of wipe away the frost on the windows so that they can actually see the future that's past where they are right now. Now let's talk about the disciplined leader, because leadership is totally fun, but you have to remain on the rails. Discipline refers to being in complete control of oneself. A highly effective leader must be self-disciplined in all areas, because a leader isn't going to have someone above them telling them what to do, remember? Because leaders are self-starters. Leaders start the work without being asked. Discipline should encompass every single area of the leader's life. So in areas like your health, a leader needs to know that they must be in good health if they want to effectively lead others. They discipline themselves to eat healthy, to exercise, to make other smart health-related decisions. So ask yourself these questions. Are you a leader? Do you eat healthy foods? Do you regularly exercise? Do you get sufficient amounts of sleep? Time. Perhaps more than anything else, a leader must be disciplined with their time. They must be able to get things done efficiently, focusing on the job in front of them and making swift progress through their to-do list. It's easy to get sidetracked during the day, but the best leaders are able to maintain that focus. So ask yourself these questions. Do you allow yourself to be easily distracted during the day? Do you have specific goals that you're focused on achieving? Do you have a system for ensuring that you make progress on your to-do list? Let's talk about vision. The leader is disciplined to stay focused on their vision. They don't let other shiny objects distract them from their ultimate purpose and vision. They must ensure that they and those who follow them stay laser focused on getting the right things done at the right time. So ask yourself these questions. Do you have a single-minded focus on your overall vision? Do you allow yourself to become easily distracted from your most important tasks? Do you conveniently remind yourself and your followers of your vision? Jim Rohn said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. That couldn't be truer. In other words, you'll achieve your highest and greatest goals. You'll never achieve your highest and greatest goals if you're not disciplined. If, on the other hand, you are able to hold yourself to the highest standards, then you'll achieve success beyond your wildest dreams. So let's talk about the communicating leader. The greatest leaders, the ones who achieve the most, the ones who inspire the most people, are those who communicate clearly, powerfully, and effectively. Consider the great leaders throughout history like Winston Churchill, JFK, Nelson Mandela. What do they all have in common? It's the ability to communicate their vision with passion, zeal, clarity, and force. They were all able to inspire people to bring bigger and better versions of themselves to the table. The greatest leaders work exceptionally hard to ensure that all of their communications are clear, concise, effective, and highly motivating. Consider the classic speech, the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. It has only 272 words, and it only took him a few minutes to deliver it. And yet, because he took a significant amount of time to shape and clarify every single word, it's one of the most powerful speeches ever given. Even to this day, it remains highly emotional and highly motivating. How can you ensure that your communications are both clear and powerful? Well, consider using what I like to call the 7 C's of communication. Here we go. Clear. Every aspect of your communications must be clear, both to you and to your audience. Complete. Your communication should include as much relevant information as possible so the listener can get a complete picture. Concise. Your sentences, paragraphs, and main points should all be appropriately concise. Concrete. Whenever possible, use concrete language rather than abstract language. Be courteous. Your communication should be courteous to your audience, considering both their feelings and their viewpoints. Should be correct. Each statement in your communication should be correct. Excuse me. Your communications are considerate of how your audience thinks and presents information in ways that are relevant and helpful to them. The greatest leaders take the necessary time to craft their communications so that they are as powerful and impactful as possible. They don't rush things because they realize that few things are more powerful than their words. If you want to be a great leader, work hard to strengthen your communication skills. Without the ability to communicate clearly, you simply can't move yourself or anyone from point A to point B. You won't be able to paint that vivid picture of your vision, and you won't be able to inspire others to take that great action. Know, go, and show the way. Rinse and repeat, in other words. John C. Maxwell said, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." This is the essence of leadership, my friends. A leader has vision and can see the way to go. A leader is self-motivated, self-disciplined, passionate, and courageous enough to do the hard work necessary to make their vision a reality. A leader is consistently communicating their visions to others, showing them the way to go. We covered a lot of ground in this workshop, my friends. A lot. But the good news is you can grow in all of these areas. You can become an effective leader. The more you focus on growing in these areas, the better you'll become as a leader, and the more people will want to follow you. As more people follow you, you'll have more opportunities to grow as a leader. Yet another cycle. It's a powerful cycle that you can use to grow by leaps and bounds, personally, professionally, as well as changing the world by leaps and bounds with your visions. So don't wait any longer, my friends. Start leading today. Go find a project. Go find a vision today and start. Because I promise you, there are people out there waiting to follow you. There are people waiting for a vision that's going to direct them towards a better future. So thank you so much for being part of this part of the workshop. I'm beyond grateful that you have spent not only today with me, but the rest of this summit. Has been amazing to have you guys come hang out. So remember, connect with me on all of my different social platforms because I'd love to get in touch with you. Let me know what part of these visionary leadership ideas are the easiest for you. What are the hardest? What are you struggling with? And how can I help you? Because my vision for the future is a future where we are all inspired and committed to changing the world for the better. And I can do that by helping you. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the amazing sessions here at the Mindset and Impact Virtual Summit, Day 3. So excited to have you here. Again, I'm Coach Molle from 3 Pines Leadership. Thank you so much for joining me, and have yourself a fantastic day. Remember, I love you, and be excellent to each other.